Lyric Clinical takes today's skincare to the next level. Using cutting-edge technology and the best high-quality ingredients, Lyric gives you brighter, healthier, younger-looking skin. With award-winning products, advanced education, and innovative skincare philosophies, Lyric Clinical is redefining aesthetics and offering superior products and treatments that produce remarkable results. It's beauty from the inside out. Be bright, be beautiful, Lyric Clinical.
Welcome to a Skin Depth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis. This is a show focused on educating and inspiring all those in the skincare and beauty industry. But it is also a show for those who are looking for ways to improve themselves from the inside out. Or maybe you're just looking to further your beauty education with a little entertainment and a great conversation along the way. Now, until we discover the fountain of youth, beauty products that promise anti-aging effects will continue to be a huge part of the skincare market. You know, you can't just slap on a cream and expect wrinkles to disappear overnight. There's a process, and we need to understand the functions of the skin. To get to the bottom of it all and shed some light, I'm joined by our expert hosts, Metaxia and Francine Kagarakis, part of the founders of Lyric Clinical. Ladies, excited because we are back in studio right now.
Yes, we are, and I absolutely love it. There's a big difference and a better energy.
It's going to be a good year. 2021 is going to be a good year. We're just excited to come back, and the industry is coming back, so we're really excited.
It's really exciting. It's kind of getting back to normal, having more fun, and there's a different energy when we're in the same room together.
Absolutely. It feels a lot more inspiring.
What's really cool is that you actually could see and feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
The Zoom meetings are cool, but really this is where I think it's our favorite
It's our
spot
forte.
to be. Forte, yes.
Yeah,
our forte.
absolutely.
Well, you know what? You both look beautiful on camera, but you're even more beautiful in person. So it's great to see you here right now. But we've discussed in previous shows about the acne market, how big it is for the skincare industry. But today we're talking about anti-age. In comparison to acne, where does anti-age fall in the market?
It's number one.
Absolutely. Most people look up anti-age first. Acne is very popular too because there's a lot of acne out there, but anti-age, we're all trying to look just a little younger or to maintain that look that we remember when we were about 25.
Yeah.
Well, we're finding that these Zoom meetings, these virtual meetings really bring attention to us because you're really just watching the screen.
Yes, we see things that we did not notice before. We look in the mirror and sometimes we see what we want to see, but that Zoom, especially when we watch it back, is like, where did that come from? I didn't see that before.
Well, it's like you're constantly looking at yourself in the mirror as you're talking.
And those ring lights are part of now the Zoom meeting. So it really has brought more focus.
You mean we have a halo?
Yes.
We have this beautiful halo, and that's what it looked like all the time.
Right?
Lighting, positioning. So
Absolutely.
it's really nice just to be calm and relaxing and sitting here and just actually having a conversation.
But I have to say, all these Zooms have brought attention to all the issues on our skin. And I think that our industry is going to be even more popular because we can do things about it.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. And this industry is definitely changing. But when it comes to anti-age, can we actually reverse the hands of time with proper skincare?
Yes, we can bring back a few years. Now, depending how many years is the key.
Well, you just remember, if you've ever had an experience when you tried a product and all of a sudden you saw your skin brighter, or you saw that the wrinkle was less because the hydration level was a little bit more, there is a way to actually feed the skin and treat the skin in a way that you can reverse some of the signs, do some in a way that you have that youthful glow. So yeah, I mean, dull skin is dull skin at any age. If you bring some stimulation, bring some hydration to the surface, you will see some type of reversing on aging.
Hydration is one thing, but peels also, you're going to see that peels refine lines, refine the skin. You're going to see pigmentation brightened up. You're going to see the skin bring back a little more youth. But the key here is you need to start younger in prevention. Okay. And this way you don't have to reverse. We have to maintain. And that's key. So this is important because even my grandchildren need to wear sunscreen.
Right.
Well, I think the market, going back the years we've gone back, it's people would come to us because they had an issue. People would come to us because there was a wrinkle, there was a pigment, dryness, rosacea. Now people are coming because they want to maintain that youthful appearance longer. So they're not coming in with a problem. They're just coming in so that that skin has that glow and that natural youthful appearance. So there is a change. We're starting younger. and we're definitely restoring and keeping and maintaining that youthful appearance a lot longer.
Every formulation has to do with different functions of the skin. There are many functions that the skin does, but we have actually talked about 4 major functions because all of our formulations address these functions.
Okay, so what are the functions of the skin?
We have 4 different functions, and barrier protection is one, skin renewal, melanin production, and maintaining structure. These are the 4 main ones that we actually address when we're formulating products.
And when we talk about the function of the skin, we're trying to keep the function of the skin at its youthful state. Because as we get older, it does slow down and it alters. So the functions are really important. As long as we can bring them to that youthful state or that state that you keep and maintain the hydration and the balance of the skin, that's what we're trying to achieve.
Okay, so let's break them all down. Let's first talk about barrier function. What is the barrier function and why is it important to protect it?
Each one of these are very, very huge. And Metaxia was talking about hydration. As we get a little older, our skin begins to get a little drier. We don't have as much lipid production as we did when we were younger. So this becomes very, very important because one of the signs of youth is having that nice, healthy, glowing, dewy type skin, not dry.
Well, to me, barrier protection is the epidermis is the barrier, the protection for the dermis. So maintaining that hydration level is really, really important. And the more hydrated, that becomes more that protection layer over the dermis, which is really, really important. So hydration, to simplify the word barrier function, hydration is what we're trying to achieve. A very well plump, healthy epidermis with enough hydration to keep the structure intact so it's not compromised. It's not compromised by dehydration. It's not compromised by overexfoliation. So the function is really important to have it hydrating at all times.
And as Metaxia was saying, what we're looking at is the epidermis. The epidermis is the barrier for the dermis, and it's our goal to make sure that the epidermis is functioning correctly. Correct. So we have a lot of different things going on in the epidermis, and one thing we have to remember, there's of course melanin production, but keratinocytes are huge. And as we age, what happens is this begins to slow down. Everything begins not to function as well. So our goal is to make sure we protect this layer and we use proper sunscreen. Very, very important to protect the skin from UV radiation. This part is very important because in the epidermis, when you have a lot of free radical damage from the sun, because we have a lot of sun worshipers out there, it starts breaking down the skin. And then you're starting to see photo damage. You're seeing many different things, elastin breaking down. So it is very important to make sure that we have UV protection. So SPF becomes very, very important.
Well, it's what she's saying. When you're exposed to the sun, what you're doing is actually causing the skin to be thirsty. The hydration level drops. So the fact that you are aware of that and hydrate your skin as often as possible with drinking a lot of water internally, but actually putting on products to keep restoring that level of hydration that it needs. So the more elements are involved, exercising, for example.
Absolutely. It brings circulation to the surface, and this becomes very, very important because this allows us to oxygenate our skin.
Right. As we get older, the level of hydration diminishes. So it's really important to be aware of it and be sure to keep it at its best.
But one thing you were saying, I know, Anna, in your introduction, you were talking about just slap on a cream. Yeah. And they think people feel that, I can just go ahead and put on a cream and it'll go ahead and hydrate my skin. It doesn't work like that. You cannot just put on a cream and it just is going to hydrate your skin immediately. There's steps that need to be taken place. And this is part of our 4 functions that we talk about. And we do need to make sure that hydration is very, very important. UV protection and also environmental protection. There's a lot of elements out there. We have the sun, we have pollution, we have stress, many different things. So we do have to also use products that help with all of these elements.
Putting on a cream at night is more important because you have to understand when you put a certain cream at night, that's when your skin repairs itself. Yeah. So when you wake up in the morning, your skin should be balanced and ready to take on the daily routines that you're gonna do. So it's important to understand a cream and when you apply it. So night home care is so vital to keeping your hydration level at its best.
I do notice a difference when I don't, wash my face at night and put my proper skincare on at night. How my skin looks in the morning is completely different. Correct. And it really does make a difference for the rest of the day. You're completely right. But let's talk about renewal now. How do you renew the skin and what's the proper way to exfoliate?
What's really important to understand is that, again, we slow down with hydration, but we also slow down with exfoliation. Our skin doesn't exfoliate as it's supposed to. So it's important to understand what is exfoliation. There is clinical exfoliation, some of the peels. There is home care exfoliation, some of the products out there. Retinol is an exfoliant by itself as an ingredient. But exfoliation, when we go back, the yin and the yang, when we talk about it in our classes, I was so stuck on exfoliation. I didn't understand the importance of hydration. And Fran would come and say, well, you need to put back because you took away, you need to put back. And I think exfoliation has become an art where now we understand that we really have to balance it and not be one or the other. We have to have that middle of the road treatment for anyone in clinic and at home care.
Well, it's important because exfoliation is a natural function. And again, what we're looking at are functions of the skin. The skin naturally exfoliates. When we're young, it exfoliates every 28 to 30 days. So you're constantly having new cells coming up to the surface. So what happens is as we age, this slows down. So it is our job to actually go in there and help with the exfoliation process. So as Metaxia was talking about, how important is it to know how to exfoliate? Very important.
You used to get so mad at me when I would actually exfoliate to the point that I would have inflammation for such a long time. I remember it was so interesting for me to take the skin off, but I really didn't understand that it was vital to put it back in. Because at that time, when it first started, these peels first came aboard, it was literally to take the top of the skin off and hopefully the skin would come back and heal itself. And it would cause inflammation that would last for weeks. So
that was instant gratification.
Instant gratification,
and that's
yes.
the key that we have to remember. So many people are into instant gratification because they feel that instant tightness. But then you also have to pay attention to inflammation. You have to pay attention to the fact that there's more rosacea than ever before because people have exfoliated and been using harsh products because they're not putting back in. I love exfoliation, and that's the key, as Metaxia is talking about. She would love to peel, I would love to heal, and we would be yin and the yang, as you said before. Mm-hmm. But what we have both realized now, as we have been doing this for a few years, I would say a couple years here and there.
Decades.
I didn't say that. I said a few years here
Decades.
and there. What we have found is that when you put them together, there's a whole different result. You're getting the results. You're getting less inflammation. And we today are looking at skincare as a whole, just like the whole body. It's very important to remember the skin is one of the organs of the body. I don't want to inflame all my organs. I don't want to inflame it all the time.
Right.
I want to actually do treatments in a way to get results that benefit my skin, exfoliate to the proper level, not over exfoliation where we have all been there, where we have over exfoliated.
Well, wait. We started this exfoliation process with a glycolic. Glycolic became popular, and everybody thought a glycolic serum or an ingredient with a product with an ingredient of a glycolic would actually do it all, to the point that we were exfoliating and causing the skin to be photosensitive. So when you use a glycolic morning and night, what you're doing is stripping the barrier, and all of a sudden the elements become an issue. So you go to a hot climate, and all of a sudden your skin is irritated. You don't put back the hydration level, and the skin is just raw. I mean, how many times have you looked at my skin and said, oh my God, what are you going to put on your skin? I go, oh no, it's inflamed. Look how nice it looks. I didn't realize 40 years ago, Fran, 40, that we were playing.
I didn't say that, you did.
We were playing around with exfoliation, not realizing that we were doing a lot more damage to the skin.
Yeah.
So we've learned a lot. The industry has learned a lot.
Remember, you fell in love with glycolic. I never did. And the reason for that is your skin tolerated it a lot
I had
better.
larger pores.
Absolutely.
I had oily skin, and I felt that more blackheads and more irritation. I had some acne.
And your skin can tolerate it.
Right.
And people who have darker Fitzpatrick do not tolerate the glycolic as well. We have a higher case of hyperpigmentation. And I felt made my skin much more sensitive and very dry. And so this is where lactic became my acid of choice.
And I really have to say exfoliation is an art. And that's why it's really important that estheticians understand the balance and understand what home care and what treatments in clinic they need to do to balance for that particular client and specialize it and personalize it for them. It's really, really important. Too much exfoliation is no good.
So what's the difference between aggressive and progressive exfoliation? How would you kind of determine that?
Dropping acid on someone's skin like a TCA and having the skin dry up and peel off in layers, and it's raw and irritated for weeks. That's really aggressive. progressive is the art of today's, with all the technology and all the beautiful ingredients that we put in our peels. That's when it takes its time. And what you're doing is exfoliating with a concept of changing the memory, causing the skin to be more balanced, causing the melanocytes and the hydration levels to be at its best, and its long-term benefits. Because TCA, or an aggressive chemical peel one time, is not going to be enough to change your skin for a long period of time.
Aggressive is actually a little more old school, because they would get instant gratification. And again, lighter Fitzpatrick's would do very well with it. Darker Fitzpatrick's had a little more issues with it. So that's what we used to do. And what we're finding today is progressive allows the skin to start changing with a lot more nutrients put in at the same time. So you're rebuilding it, and it's a healthier exfoliation versus just going in there, as Metaxia says, drop an aggressive acid in there, get quick results. But now you're going to have to start taking a longer time repairing. We can get better results with less inflammation and with doing it progressively.
And I think it's real important. People don't want downtime. The old school that you mentioned, literally you would have to work up to a treatment, an aggressive treatment, have time off of work, have downtime, because it would literally take days to heal back. The skin would be raw. You would cause some hot spots sometimes on sensitive skin, but you would put the skin at risk, and you would let the skin kind of fend for itself. So it's really important to understand that that's old school. We didn't know. We've learned in the past 20, 30 years that it's really more wise and more skin friendly for more Fitzpatrick to do it in a more progressive manner where everyone could benefit, and it's better for the skin and long term as far as keeping the results longer.
And we also have multiple peels. We have different peels for different times, for different types of skin. It's not just lactic and glycolic at this point. We have many different acids. We combine acids. We do many different things. So this way we can do different types of exfoliation all year round versus doing peel season.
Remember the seasonal
yes,
peels?
Exactly.
We don't do
them
them
spring
anymore.
And we would do fall. We are able to do different types of exfoliation all year round with different modalities, completely different agents. We would combine them. Mandelic is very popular right now. We're also seeing that our beautiful Jesner's phenomena with our colloidal silver and gold. I mean, there's so many different types of exfoliation that now we're able to get better results all year round.
I mean, the old school, literally going many years back, was doing many layers of Jester, sometimes 7, 8, 9 layers, just to get that dramatic peeling effect. And literally what you do is make the skin so crispy, so dry. I kind of associate it to the chicken rule when we do classes. You get a chicken from the grocery store that's not been cooked. If you feel the skin, it has a cushion to it. It's supple. You can play with it. It's hydrated. It's plump. Then you put the chicken in the oven, and if you notice the skin becomes very thin and crispy, and it doesn't have that pliability that would be. Just imagine when you take that epidermis and thin it out so that it's dry and thin and doesn't have substance and doesn't have that versatility. It really can't correct that. So you want to keep and this might be off topic, but you want to keep that epidermis as plump and as supple and as hydrated as possible, because that's your youth. That's the appearance of youthful skin, that really plump skin that you look like a bit young skin.
And not that thin, irritated, inflamed skin, which a lot of people who have used many aggressive products and treatments, you can look at their skin and it's thinned out, it's inflamed, and it's lost that youthful glow and that youthful hydration.
I'm never going to look at chicken the same way again. I hope you know that. It's a great way to explain it, though.
But, you want that plumpness. You know, I mean, now we're finding that dermal fillers are really important. Why? Because you're plumping up the skin.
Well, that's another thing, too, because the fat in the skin, and as we get older, of course, everything begins to break down. Yeah. So that's another thing that we need to do, because also when we're dealing with skin renewal, we're also dealing with triggering fibroblasts, and we're also triggering renewal of collagen. And so we've been doing that for a very long period of time, where we're starting to trigger so we can deal with sagging skin. But again, as we get older, we can't keep inflaming the skin so much that we keep beating it over and over again. That process slows down. We don't get the same effects as we did years before.
Okay, well, let's move on to melanin now. Melanin production is an important part of anti-age. What is melanin, and why is it important to the process?
Going back again years, people thought that they wanted to get rid of their freckles. People thought that we wanted to have this flawless skin, and no pigment was was wanted on the skin. We have learned that the melanin is really our protection. It's our alarm system. Melanin is there to protect the skin, and it comes on, it responds.
It's nature's protection. It's
Right.
actually there in the epidermis to protect us. This is why you tan. This is why when
There's a
we're out in the
response.
sun, people who have more melanin in their skin doesn't age as bad as people who do have less melanin in their skin.
But even darker skin tones, they get sensitive to the sun. So all melanin has a value to it, and we're not supposed to get rid of it, destroy it. We're supposed to maintain it and reassure it.
Respect it.
Respect it, really. Respect the melanin and keep it where it's not on that alarm state, like it's threatened. So it's real. We've learned to manage it. We've learned to reduce it and cause it to be less irritated. We're responsive to, for example, the elements in the environment, heat. I would say picking, sometimes even picking when you have acne, you pick, the melanin is so sensitive. So we have ingredients now today with technology that actually reassures the melanin and keeps it at the lower levels of the epidermis.
We inhibit it.
Yep.
And what we do with it, and we actually used to use, like hydroquinone was very, very popular when we first started getting into peels. Hydroquinone is still out there, and there's different percentages from prescription from 4 to 10, and over the counter is 2%.
Do you remember we used to try to get the highest percentage of hydroquinone? We're talking years, decades. We used to think that if we had the highest percentage of hydroquinone, that would give us that flawless appearance, not knowing that you put so much on the skin that the skin becomes so sensitive and the hot spots
we have
became.
something called the rebound effect
Yeah.
also, because when it's too active, what happens is melanocytes will jump up to protect the skin because the prescription was a little too active. So they get the rebound effect and the pigment gets even darker. I'm somebody who suffers from that because if you get a laser treatment for hyperpigmentation, or if I use 4% or more of hydroquinone, my pigment actually gets darker. So that rebound effect is an issue. And again, hydroquinone is not actually the ingredient of choice.
No.
As Metaxia is saying, we have so many new things out there. Hexaresorcinol is phenomenal. And hexaresorcinol also delivers new enzymes, so we get more glutathione into the skin.
Awesome.
So there's so many more better ingredients that we can use to actually inhibit that chain of tyrosinase, tyrosine, melanin. And so what we do is inhibit that chain, and so the melanin does not jump up to the skin to protect.
Okay, so then why is melanin production so important when you're dealing with anti-age treatment?
When you go in to do a treatment, you put that alarm on.
Okay.
You make it where it's a risk and the melanin is trying to protect it. So if you do the proper home care and you actually take that melanin and cause it to be not as threatened with a treatment or an incident getting exposed to the sun, what you're doing is reassuring it. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, a good example is Metaxia doesn't have a lot of melanin in the outer layers of her epidermis because she's lighter Fitzpatrick. I have more melanin in the outer layers of my epidermis. So if I'm going to be getting a Jesner, if I'm going to be getting a peel, and my progressive peel is a little more active because I'm making it a little stronger as I'm going on, I could hit a hot spot. And if I hit a hot spot at that point, it could trigger hyperpigmentation. But if I am using a brightening agent, especially with hexaresorcinol, what's going to happen is that chemical reaction that will trigger melanin is inhibited. And this way, the melanin does not jump up to the surface, and I don't have hyperpigmentation.
So that's, I think it's really fascinating, and I can't wait to go more into all the specifics about, like, you know, what products we use. Before we get into the last part of the structure of the skin, I'm really excited that we're going to be doing more individual podcasts. We're really getting to the technical side, the treatments of each of these structures. I'll get into more of that, but let's talk about, as we age, the skin actually begins to break down, causing sagging and wrinkles. How do we actually maintain the structure itself of the skin?
Well, there is elastin and collagen, and elastin and collagen work together to give you that structure and help with that elastosis. So it's important to maintain that. But we naturally lose collagen every year, so it's important to kind of reassure it, stop it from the loss naturally that occurs. But we really need to put in products that will stimulate and ingredients that talk to the skin cells.
We have many different things that we do, as Metaxia was talking about. What we did is, of course, we did peels that triggered fibroblasts that would create new collagen. And we didn't have anything for elastin before. But now we have designer peptides that actually are targeting into the dermis, and we're helping to rebuild collagen, and especially the new one is elastin.
Isn't like Skin Talk, these designer peptides go in and do
Some of them are communicators, and they allow the cells to turn over a little faster. So we have different types of peptides that target certain skin conditions. So again, we are building collagen. We're building it not only through inflammation, and that's one way of doing it, through laser treatments, through peels, but that does cause inflammation. But we are now targeting collagen and elastin through peptide technology. And we are also doing this through plant stem cell technology.
Yeah.
We're doing it through plant stem cells that actually help feed the skin. And the other thing that we want to do, especially because we want to maintain the structure, it is very, very important to make sure that we add antioxidants into all of our skincare.
That was not there before. We weren't focusing on that. Now, today, we've gotten so advanced that we realize that all of these things matter. It's not just going in and getting a treatment. It's that daily reassuring the epidermis.
Well, it's the daily use. Because as you go out, okay, the sun hits you, the pollution hits you, all of these things are assaulting the skin on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So when you're using skincare that actually has antioxidants into the skin, what you're going to do is you're attacking free radicals. So this way the skin doesn't break down as much. So we want to calm down inflammation, number one, because inflammation helps break down the skin, and it also causes sporadic melanin. So we're causing more hyperpigmentation. So it's very, very important to use powerful antioxidants and powerful anti-inflammatories. And we do this throughout the line. This is why you're going to see professional skincare has multiple anti-inflammatories. And this one big one that we have, of course, is our mastiha, and the other one is even cannabis. You're going to find these are very, very powerful. And another one that we have out there is, of course, glutathione. This is going to be applied to the skin, and it also needs a delivery system to get into the skin so it can deliver all the antioxidants and anti-inflammatories.
And that is the latest technology, using a lot more of the research that we've put together to support the home care, which is crucial. You brush your teeth every day. Why do you brush your teeth every day if you go to your hygienist twice a year?
Right.
You have to maintain that correction. So when you get your teeth cleaned, you are definitely getting a little bit deeper professionally, but you're maintaining it with the right flossing and the right brushing and keeping the skin at its best health. Same thing with home care. Home care has gotten so sophisticated that it's just not putting a cream on, like you said in the beginning of the podcast. It's actually the art of exfoliation and hydration and giving you that protection, the barrier protection with the right SPF, environmental protection.
True, but it's our job to restore the skin, replenish the skin. And what we have to remember is one cream doesn't do it all. We need to make sure that we change out products every quarter.
That's true.
Because your skin adapts to all the different products that you're using. And after a while, the skin says, okay, gets tired of it.
Right.
So this is where it becomes very important to change up in-clinic treatments, change up your home care treatments. Very, very important to do both of these every quarter. So this way you're repairing the skin as needed.
Well, if you looked at a picture of someone who's been exposed to the sun for a long time, you notice the skin is sagging, it's thinner, and the structure has been really destroyed. So it's really important to wear the SPF at a younger age, like you mentioned with your grandkids and our grandkids. But it's important to understand that you want to keep the structure intact. It's really, really important that you start at a younger age and restore it and keep it at its best, because then you won't have that thinning and you won't have that loss of elasticity. Because I can tell you, the more hydrated you stay, the less elasticity loss you have. I can tell you that people have avoided the sun and avoided the elements outside have more structure to their skin than people that have been outside doing more activities outside. So you can do activities with the right home care, the right protection.
So again, skincare starts from within. So eating a healthier diet. Berries are phenomenal for antioxidants.
Right.
Walking, as we said, oxygenation, antioxidants, SPF products, so we're preventing the free radical damage.
Well,
these are very important steps.
Well, she's talking about intrinsic and extrinsic.
Right.
Intrinsic is really 20%. There's numbers vary. 20% of what happens aging. And 80%, again, a rough range, is what happens externally. So extrinsic aging is really something that we can actually help and avoid. If we're
That's
really
our
careful.
job at
That's
this
our
point.
job.
This is what we need to do, is train the next generation how to prevent. So this way we don't have to work so hard and inflame the skin to correct it. So what we
You
need,
can eat all the berries you want, but you're not, if you don't put sun protection on.
Right.
well, absolutely, they go together though.
yeah.
But again, you could put all the sun protection you want on too, and if you're eating unhealthy foods,
Like if
it's
you're
not
eating
gonna be
chips
good
and
for you,
drinking
too.
soda
They
and
go
staying
together.
inside
so
all
you
day, it's
have
not
to
gonna
have a
help.
balance.
So it's a full circle.
Correct.
It's the whole process. And So it is important to remember all of these steps.
But I think our lifestyles have changed. I know that in going back 20, 30 years, I realized it wasn't a topic. We didn't talk about these things. We've really
Today,
grown as
people are very into it because you are
So
finding
nice.
more and more people are online looking up this information. So today's clients, when they walk in, actually, they're very knowledgeable and they do know all of these steps, and they do want their professional to be able to discuss this with them because they understand why they're drinking water, why they're eating healthier. So it makes sense to use the proper skincare that addresses the same things that they're looking at and they're addressing.
A 60-year-old does not look like a 60-year-old if they really take care of them and do the full circle.
Absolutely.
They could be looking at like their late 30s and early 40s. There is that possibility when you do that, when you respect internally what you put in your body, externally how you protect your skin, and really having a healthy mindset. I think also that too.
Absolutely. But when you're positive, first of all, when you're in love and in positive, you smile, you're happy. Guess what's happening? Chemically inside of you, it's coming out.
It's
and
glowing.
You see it.
It's glowing.
And just like I tell everybody, and we'd like to joke about this, especially when we're on the road, when you're in love, you don't need skincare because you're so happy. All the chemicals are just smiling. You're glowing. The key here is it is to be positive, stay as healthy as possible, walk, take care of yourself, all of this, and wear the correct skincare.
Yeah.
Have a professional guide you through this journey.
And you're finding more about this actually, like in places like, say, Hollywood. You're hearing more celebrities talking about finding their happiness from the inside out, and they talk to their skincare professionals. They get
Yoga,
the high line of stuff. Yeah,
avoiding the
Yoga.
stress levels. I mean, it's a system.
Well,
and it's
sleep.
important. Sleep
Sleep is
yeah.
very important. As you were talking about your skincare, your skincare is important at night. But if you're up tossing and turning all night long,
Yeah, stressed out.
it's not going to help because you're going to look stressed in the morning. Melatonin is part of serotonin. They all are combined in a way.
Yep.
So this is very important to remember. All of this works together.
And love yourself. I think what we've learned this year, the inspiration that we're trying to share with all our estheticians out there and their accounts is, we have to be positive. We've gone through a lot. So I think being less stressed or being aware of it, taking that time for that walk, understanding that, we're all trying our best and having a positive attitude will help everything we do in our lives.
It's all everything. It's a wholesome attitude, wholesome way of life, and your skincare professional can help you achieve the desired results. But you got to start early. We're going to break down each of the functions and how you approach treatment in the next episode of the podcast. First up, we're going to be really breaking down barrier protection. So this was kind of more of an introduction to the functions of the skin, but we're going to get more technical. We're going to really dive into each of them because really this was the tip of the iceberg. I know that you both can go really more in depth on each of them, and because there is so much, we decided that we're going to break down each of them. So first up, we'll be talking about barrier protection on the next episode of the podcast. But coming up next, we do have a product of the week to highlight. But before we do, how about a word from Lyra Clinical?
Lyra Clinical, the pioneers of science discovering nature in clinical skincare, now brings you the latest in CBD science directly to your skin. Mystique Infused C harnesses the power entourage. Clinical cannabidiol and terpene-rich mastec restores any skin imbalance, from maskne, dry, dehydrated, sensitive skin, and even inflamed acne. This extremely unique product brings harmony to all skin types, tones, and conditions, ensuring you have the brightest, most beautiful complexion possible. Try the Mystique Infused C today.
All right, so this week we have an exciting product to highlight. What's the product of the
Well,
week?
let me jump in,
Okay.
Anna. First of
She
all,
always has to jump
yeah.
in. You have to remember that.
I have to jump in because this one I'm going to let Francine introduce this product of the
Oh,
week.
you're so kind.
Well, you worked really hard, years to convince the board that this was going to be a good product. And I have to say, for me, doing the full circle of agreeing with her, which is hard for me to do,
It is.
is.
It really is.
I have to say that she's worked really, really hard. I'm going to give her the floor to introduce this wonderful product that I use every day that has changed my home care routine. And I'm really proud of this product. And it all goes to her.
No, it
So
doesn't
go
all
ahead.
go to me. It comes from the team, and we're very proud of our team. And what I do have to say
Team
is...
Francine.
Yeah, oh, yeah. What I have to say is, as Metaxia is a peel queen and likes to take it off, for her to be able to put something back in, her skin needed it.
Oh,
Because
thank you very
kept
much.
taking it off, and what your skin needed is all those anti-inflammatories, all that skin brightening. It needed lipid-soluble vitamin C at 15%. This particular product is very, very unique. It brings down inflammation, antioxidants. We have a powerhouse of 2 different types of mastiha, from extract to oil, which is very, very
Lamborghini
powerful.
of skincare.
It is the Lamborghini.
That's a good way to put it.
And so that they're potent, help with pigmentation, anti-age, everything. And then for Lyra to come up with a CBD product, where we also have our Power Entourage, which is Lyra's own terpene-powered CBD. So what I do have to say is, as we love all of our exfoliating modalities and love all of our exfoliating products, from retinol to Jesner to TCA, all of them, all of these products need something that helps with inflammation and helps with antioxidants, and our Infuse C is the product.
I could tell you I've had a stressful year last year, and that Infuse C coming towards the end of the year has changed our skin. And I have to tell you, too, of a couple of the people that we've actually sent product out to test them out, not knowing what they were doing, I saw incredible results. So it is a treatment at home. It is
especially with the Pro Pads.
Yeah.
That's quite a combination when you do the Pro Pads and then you put the Mystique Infuse C on top. Wow, what a home treatment.
And it's actually one of our best sellers now. And as far as a new product, is taken the numbers like no other, because people see it. You use less of the product, so it's really very concentrated. So it does last you for 2-3 months.
And there's nothing missing. So if you do have a client who's very up on all the ingredients, no problem. They're all in there.
Lamborghini.
There's nothing missing.
Lamborghini of skincare.
I mean, I've used it. It is absolutely incredible. I love it. I've seen a huge difference in my skin thanks to it. So Infuse C, a fantastic product. You can find out more at lyraclinical.com. But ladies, happy to be back. This is a great show today. So much great information. Really looking forward to finding out more about barrier protection on the next episode of the podcast, really breaking that down. We're getting to the nitty gritty. But as always, if you have any questions for Metaxia or Francine, you can email them to skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. That's skindepthconvo@lyraclinical.com. And maybe you might receive a special Lyra product if you email us your question and we highlight you on the show. But that will do it for today. For everyone here at Skin Depth Convo, thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Kagarakis, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.